The galaxy had been burning for almost 100 years. Planets turned to dust, fleets vanished in bright fire, and millions of species forgot what peace even meant. The war between the Varn Dominion and the Krell Empire had reached every corner of known space. No one remembered why it started anymore, only that it had to continue. Among the stars, there was one small blue world, Earth. To the great powers of the galaxy, it was nothing more than a forgotten planet, home to a young and loud species called humans. No one expected anything from them. They were too emotional, too unpredictable, too new to the stars. But sometimes, that is exactly what changes everything. Captain Elias Ward had never seen an alien before the war reached the outer edge of his solar system. He was an officer in the Terran Peace Force, a small human fleet built mostly to protect trade ships and colonies. When he first saw the light of battle in orbit around Mars, he thought it was just another drill. But the sky was burning for real. Two massive fleets, Varn and Krell, had clashed right there, by accident, in human space. Their energy weapons tore through asteroids and destroyed communication satellites. Both sides ignored the humans, fighting as if the system was empty. Ward watched in silence as one of the Krell ships, a giant black cruiser, lost power and started falling toward Mars. If it crashed, the explosion would destroy everything on the surface. "Command, permission to engage," Ward said. His voice was calm, but his hands were shaking. "Negative," came the reply. "This isn't our war." But Elias Ward didn't listen. He shut off the comm channel and pushed the engines to full power. His small ship, resolute, darted toward the falling cruiser. It was insane. His weapons were too weak, his shields too thin, but he had no choice. If he didn't act, millions would die. He targeted the cruiser's reactor core and fired. The first shot bounced harmlessly off the alien armor. The second one found a weak point, maybe by chance, maybe by something more. The explosion lit the void like a second sun. The Varn and Krell fleets both stopped for a moment, surprised. In that moment of silence, Elias Ward spoke over open channels. "This is human space. You fight here, you die here. Leave." For the first time in a century, both alien fleets withdrew from a battle. It was not fear, it was confusion. Who was this new species that dared to threaten them both? That night, every human news channel played the same clip, a single Terran ship flying through the fire of two galactic fleets. They called him the Mad Captain. But others called him something else, the Peacemaker. Weeks passed. The Varn Dominion sent a diplomat to Earth. So did the Krell Empire. Both wanted to talk, but not with each other, with the human who stopped their battle. Ward didn't want to be a hero, but somehow, humanity had become the only neutral ground in the galaxy. When the aliens arrived, the world watched. The Varn were tall, shining creatures made of crystal and light. The Krell were dark, scaled giants with red eyes and deep voices. They hated each other, even standing in the same room made the air feel heavy. Ward stood between them. He had no translator, no great power, no army behind him. Just words. "You've fought for 100 years, he said quietly. "And what has it given you?" The Krell ambassador growled. "Honor." The Varn diplomat's voice rang like a bell. "Survival." "Then you've already lost," Ward said. "Because neither of you are living anymore. You're just fighting to remember why you exist." The room fell silent. For a long time, no one spoke. And then something impossible happened. Both sides asked the same question. "What do you suggest, human?" Ward took a breath. He didn't have a plan. He didn't have authority. But he had something the galaxy had forgotten. Hope. "Talk," he said. "Not to win. Not to lose. Just to stop killing." It sounded foolish. Simple. Weak. But somehow, the simplicity of those words cut deeper than any weapon. The next day, the Varn and Krell agreed to a ceasefire, the first in 100 years. And every galactic power wanted to know why. The humans, they said, had done something no one else could do. But peace built on words is fragile. And as Elias Ward would soon learn, stopping a war was only the beginning. Somewhere, deep in the cold dark between stars, something watched. Something that wanted the war to continue. Something ancient. And it had just noticed Earth. Peace in the galaxy was not a loud thing. It came quietly, like the calm after a storm. For the first time in a century, the stars were silent. The Varn and the Krell signed a ceasefire, on Earth, under human supervision. Elias Ward became a symbol of peace. But he didn't feel like one. Every day, he sat in meetings between alien diplomats, hearing words that meant nothing. Promises. Accusations. Lies wrapped in polite tones. Sometimes he wondered if this peace was only a pause, a long breath before another scream. The Galactic Council called Earth the neutral world. Trade ships returned. Scientists came. Even the media called it the beginning of a new era. But deep inside, Ward knew something was wrong. Too many things didn't make sense. The Varn claimed the Krell attacked first. The Krell said the Varn used hidden weapons. Both sides had proof. But when Ward checked the data, he found something strange. The signatures of the attacks didn't belong to either side. They belonged to someone else. He started spending nights alone in the Terran Peace Station orbiting above Earth. He went through old war logs, signal traces, and battle records from both fleets. And that's when he found it, a repeating code, hidden deep inside every transmission. A small pulse, always the same, no matter who sent it. When decoded, the pulse formed a simple phrase in an unknown language. Keep the fire alive. Ward stared at the screen. His heart was pounding. Someone wanted this war to last, he whispered. Someone made sure it never ended. He tried to report it to the council, but they didn't listen. Conspiracy, they said. You're tired, Captain. Take a break. So he didn't tell them again. He decided to find the truth himself. The next night, he met an old friend, Lieutenant Maya Chen, a systems engineer who served with him during the Mars incident. She had always trusted him, even when no one else did. You really think someone started this on purpose? She asked. I don't think, Ward replied. I know. Look. He showed her the signal logs. She frowned, running the code through her own systems. This isn't any known tech. It's older. Pre-galactic. The frequency, it's coming from deep space. Way beyond mapped sectors. Beyond. Yeah. Past the Perseus Rift. That's dead space. No colonies. No life. Ward looked out the viewport. The stars beyond the rift shimmered like cold diamonds. Then maybe that's where the real enemy is. Maya sighed. If you're right, the council will never believe it. They don't want another enemy. Then we'll go without them. Within days, they prepared a small ship, Resolute 2, faster and stronger than Ward's old vessel. It was supposed to be a survey ship, but Ward had another mission in mind: find the source of the signal and end whatever was keeping the war alive. When they left orbit, no one noticed. No press, no ceremony. Just two humans and a silent sky. After 3 days of travel, the stars began to change. The further they went, the darker space became. No beacons, no signals, only silence. Then the ship's sensors detected something, a massive structure floating among the void. It was ancient, larger than a moon, made of black stone and metal. No lights. No heat. Just waiting. As they got closer, Maya whispered, "It's not natural." Who built this? Ward didn't answer. He was too focused on the strange pattern glowing faintly on the surface. The same phrase from the signal appeared again, now clear and bright. Keep the fire alive. Suddenly, the ship's systems flickered. Lights died. Engines went silent. A deep hum filled the air, not through speakers, but inside their minds. A voice spoke. You come from the world of chaos. You end what we began. Ward froze. Who are you? The voice echoed through every wall. We are the architects. We built your wars. You call them by many names: balance, order, destiny. But war is our creation. Maya's voice trembled. You started the Galactic War? Yes, the voice said calmly. Conflict keeps the galaxy alive. Without it, civilizations die. You humans ended the fire. Now we will light it again. Ward clenched his fists. You think we'll let you? You have no choice, the voice replied. You are small. You are temporary. But you have something interesting. Defiance. Suddenly, the black structure began to shift. Huge panels opened, revealing thousands of drones rising from its surface, each powered by the same energy that destroyed fleets. Ward shouted, Maya, get us out of here. The ship's engines roared back to life, but the drones were already moving. Blue light flashed behind them as the Resolute 2 jumped to hyperspace. When they returned to human space, they were both silent. Maya finally spoke. If what we saw is real, they'll come for everyone. Varn, Krell, humans, doesn't matter. Ward nodded slowly. Then we'll make them believe. Because if we don't stop them now, the next war won't last 100 years. He looked out at the stars, bright, fragile, and silent once more. It'll end everything. Elias Ward didn't sleep for 3 days after the encounter beyond the Perseus Rift. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard that cold voice again. We built your wars. Those words echoed in his mind like a curse. When the Resolute 2 returned to Earth, the Galactic Council immediately detained them. The Varn and Krell both demanded answers. They believed Ward had entered restricted space and possibly provoked a new threat. Ward stood before the Council, tired but unbroken. The chamber was massive, half glass, half metal, with dozens of alien delegates floating in their own gravity fields. He looked up at them and said, There's something out there. Older than your empires. Older than all of us. They call themselves the Architects. The Varn delegate tilted its crystal head. We have no record of such beings. You wouldn't, Ward said. They hide. They watch. And they use us like tools. That's how your war began. They manipulated both sides. The Krell ambassador growled. Lies. No one manipulates the Krell. Then explain this. Ward slammed a device on the table. The screen lit up, showing the same phrase glowing in alien code, keep the fire alive. Both sides stared at it. Even the council members whispered among themselves. But after a long silence, the chairman finally spoke. Captain Ward, these are serious accusations. Do you have proof of direct interference? Ward's voice grew sharper. I saw their machines. I heard their voice. The chairman sighed. Without evidence, your words are fear, not truth. Security officers moved toward him. Ward didn't resist. He knew this would happen. Humans were still new in galactic politics. No one listened until it was too late. Maya watched helplessly as they escorted him out. They'll never believe, she whispered. Ward looked back. Then we'll make them. 2 weeks later, the galaxy forgot about him. News networks called him the Mad Captain again. But far beyond council space, in the empty void near Varn territory, something woke up. A fleet of drones, the same kind Ward had seen, emerged from hyperspace. Thousands of them. They didn't send a signal, didn't communicate. They just attacked. The Varn outpost on Kethra Prime never had a chance. The sky turned black, then white. The planet's crust split open like glass. Within hours, billions were gone. The Varn called it a natural disaster. The Krell called it revenge. And the fragile peace broke again. Maya saw the reports from her station on Luna Base. She tried to reach the council, but communications were chaos. Fleets were mobilizing. Old alliances shattered. She went straight to the detention center where Ward was being held. The guards refused to let her in until she flashed her old officer badge. When she saw him, he was sitting quietly, staring at the wall. "They attacked," she said. "Just like you said they would. Kethera Prime is gone." Ward stood up slowly. "Then the architects made their move. We have to warn them." He shook his head. "They won't listen to words anymore. We need proof they can't ignore." "How?" He smiled faintly. "By stealing it." That night, under the cover of a communication blackout, Maya hacked into the Council's hangar systems. The alarms were offline. Most of the guards were already being sent to the front lines. Ward walked beside her as they reached Resolute 2. "You know," she whispered, "this is going to make us enemies of everyone." "Good," Ward said. "Enemies fight. Friends watch. Maybe this time, someone will fight the right war." They launched without clearance. The moment they left orbit, Council scanners detected them, but it was too late. They jumped into hyperspace. Their destination, the ruins of Kethera Prime. When they arrived, the planet was gone, a glowing sphere of molten debris. But among the wreckage floated something huge, a shard of the same black metal from the architect's structure. Maya guided the ship closer. Energy readings off the charts. "This thing's still active." Ward nodded. "That's our proof." As they approached, a faint light began to pulse from the shard. It projected a hologram, an image of the galaxy filled with glowing lines, each marking a planned strike. Dozens of systems. Varn, Krell, even human colonies. Maya's hands trembled. "They're not just restarting the war. They're going to burn everyone." Before they could react, another message appeared in the air. "You cannot stop balance." The shard exploded with silent light. Their ship was thrown back, alarms screaming. Maya fell to the floor, smoke filling the cabin. Ward struggled to his seat and grabbed the controls. "Hang on." They barely escaped the blast, but the recording of the hologram survived. Proof of the architect's plan. As they drifted in silence, Maya looked at him. "Now what?" Ward stared at the stars. "Now we show them what humans do when someone tries to play God." Far away, deep in the void, the architects watched. "Defiance grows stronger," one voice said. "Let it," another replied. "It makes the fire brighter." The galaxy had seen many heroes, but none like Captain Elias Ward. Once, he was the man who stopped a war. Now, he was the man running from every army in the galaxy. The Resolute 2 drifted silently through deep space, its engines barely alive. The proof of the architect's plan, the recording from Kethera Prime, was stored safely in its core. Ward and Maya knew what it meant. If they could show it to the right people, the entire galaxy might finally see the real enemy. But the galaxy wasn't ready for truth. The Varn blamed the Krell for Kethera Prime. The Krell blamed the humans. And fleets were already gathering again. Maya leaned over the console, her voice low. "Transmission relays are still jammed. The Council's not receiving anything. We can't just broadcast it." Ward's eyes stayed fixed on the stars. "Then we'll take it to them ourselves." "You mean, go back to Earth? They'll arrest us again." He smiled faintly. "Maybe. But this time, we're not coming with words. We're coming with proof." When the Resolute 2 reached the edge of the Sol system, human patrol ships surrounded them immediately. Ward opened the channel. "This is Captain Elias Ward," he said calmly. "We have information that will save the galaxy. Don't shoot." The command ship paused before replying. "You're wanted for treason, Captain." "Then arrest me. But first, listen." Maya activated the recording. The hologram filled the air, the image of the galaxy covered in glowing red lines, each one marking a future attack. The alien voices of the architects echoed through the comm system. "Keep the fire alive." There was silence. Then, the human commander's voice came again, shaky now. "Stand by, Resolute 2. You are cleared for landing." Within hours, the entire Terran Council was gathered in the old United Space Center. Ward stood before them once more, the same place he had been humiliated weeks ago. The hologram played again. This time, no one could deny what they saw. "This," Ward said, "is what we're all facing. Not Varn. Not Krell. Something older. Something that feeds on our wars." The room was silent. Then one of the generals spoke, her voice cold. "If this is true, then we can't win alone." Ward nodded. "That's the point. No one can. But together, maybe we can stop them." The general looked uncertain. "You're asking us to trust our enemies." "I'm asking you to survive." 2 days later, an emergency broadcast was sent across the stars, not just by humans, but by the Council itself. The message was simple. "To all civilizations, the architects are real. We have proof. We request immediate cooperation." The Varn and Krell both received the message. Most ignored it at first. But then the architects attacked again. This time, they didn't strike a planet. They struck a sun. The system of Dareth 4, home to both Krell and Varn colonies, went dark in seconds. The star itself collapsed, devouring everything. Ships, stations, planets, gone. No warning. No survivors. That was the moment the galaxy finally believed. Within a week, a meeting was arranged in orbit around a neutral world, a massive station called Haven Prime. It was the first time in history that every major species gathered under one roof. Ward stood on the main deck, looking out the glass wall at the endless stars. Maya stood beside him, watching fleets from both sides arrive. Varn cruisers glowing with crystal light, Krell warships dark and heavy, and hundreds of human vessels among them. "I never thought I'd see this," Maya whispered. "Neither did I," Ward said softly. "Let's hope it lasts longer than the last piece." Inside the council chamber, the air was thick with tension. The Krell general glared at the Varn emissary. "If this is another human trick, I will personally burn your world." Ward stepped forward. "You've both lost millions. The architects will take billions more if we fight each other. We don't have to like each other. We just have to stop dying for someone else's game." A long silence followed. Then the Varn emissary spoke, her crystal body shimmering. "If we fight together, humans will lead?" Ward shook his head. "No. No one leads. Everyone fights. Together." The room stayed quiet for a moment, and then, slowly, one by one, the delegates agreed. The first true galactic alliance was born. But as the fleets began to organize, something strange happened. Ships started vanishing. Entire squadrons disappeared from communication, as if swallowed by space. At first, the Alliance thought it was sabotage. But then the signals came. Faint. Broken. Coming from everywhere at once. Maya listened in horror. "It's the architects. They're already inside our systems." Ward clenched his fists. "Then we find them. No matter where they hide." She turned to him. "You think we can beat them?" He stared into the stars, voice calm but fierce. "They've built wars for 1,000 years. But they've never fought humans." Far beyond the edge of the galaxy, the architects watched the new alliance forming. "They unite," one voice said. "They will fail," another replied. "Unity is fragile. Fear is forever." A third voice spoke, colder than the rest. "Let them come. We've waited 1,000 years for a worthy war." And in the blackness between the stars, something enormous began to move. The Galactic Alliance was born in fear, but it grew in fire. For the first time in history, Varn, Krell, and humans fought side by side. Fleets that once destroyed each other now trained together. Ships that were enemies now shared fuel, food, and code. But peace under war is never easy. Old wounds bled beneath the new flag. Every command decision turned into an argument. Every lost ship reignited hate. Captain Elias Ward knew it better than anyone. As commander of the Alliance's Special Task Fleet, he was responsible for leading the first mission against the architects. The meeting room aboard Haven Prime was quiet. A hologram of the galaxy spun above the table, hundreds of red lights blinking. Architect activity. Ward pointed at one sector. This is where it began. The Perseus Rift. We'll strike there first. A Krell general slammed his clawed hand on the table. You mean suicide? That's where your ship almost died. Ward didn't flinch. Yes. That's where they're hiding. We can't win by waiting. The Varn diplomat's crystalline voice echoed softly. Our scans detect structures the size of moons. You cannot fight them. Ward looked at her calmly. Then we'll break one and show the rest we can. The room fell silent. After a moment, Maya stepped forward. He's right. If we hit their command node, we might disrupt their network. We don't need to destroy them all, just make them bleed. The Krell general growled. If this fails, your world burns first. Ward smirked. Get in line. 3 days later, the Alliance fleet jumped into the rift. Thousands of ships, glowing Varn cruisers, heavy Krell destroyers, and swift human carriers, cut through the dark. The space ahead of them shimmered, bending light and time. This place feels wrong, Maya whispered. Like the stars are watching us. They are, Ward said. And so are the architects. The scanners lit up with movement. Massive shadows emerged from the black, machines the size of cities, shaped like inverted pyramids, their surfaces covered with strange runes. Then came the sound, a deep, pulsing hum that made every ship tremble. Ward stared at it, heart pounding. All ships, open fire. The first galactic battle against the architects had begun. Energy beams cut through space, explosions painting the void with fire. The Varn ships released pure light as weapons, burning holes through the smaller architect drones. The Krell unleashed plasma torpedoes that turned metal to vapor. Human fighters darted between them, fast and furious. But for every drone destroyed, 10 more appeared. The architects' fleet moved like a living storm, their weapons bending physics, their armor shifting like liquid. On the Resolute 2, Maya shouted, their shields are reforming, they're learning our attacks. Then change the pattern, Ward barked. Hit them with something they can't predict. She grinned. Something human, then. She rerouted the ship's engines, dumping raw energy into the weapons grid, a dangerous move that could tear the ship apart. The Resolute 2 dived through enemy lines, spinning wildly, firing at close range. The blast tore through one of the architect ships, and for the first time, it didn't heal. Ward stared in disbelief. You did it. Maya's hands shook. Not for long, engines are overheating. The explosion spread through the architect formation. The fleet broke its perfect rhythm. The Alliance ships saw their chance and attacked with everything they had. The sky was fire. But victory lasted only seconds. From deep within the rift, something enormous began to rise, larger than all the others combined. A structure so massive it blocked the stars. Its surface pulsed with symbols older than any known language. Command ship, Maya whispered. It's their source. The voice came again, that same cold voice Ward had heard before. You learn. You adapt. You are not like the others. Ward glared at the towering ship. We're human. We fight until the end. The voice almost sounded amused. Yes. You were made to. Ward froze. What do you mean? You were our creation too, Elias Ward. Your kind was designed for defiance. You exist to balance the chaos we built. Maya's voice broke. They're saying humans were engineered, Ward finished softly. Created to fight their wars. The realization hit him harder than any weapon. The architects hadn't just started wars, they had created the species that would fight them. Humanity wasn't a mistake, the voice continued. You are our masterpiece. Ward's anger burned through his fear. Then your masterpiece just turned on you. He slammed his fist on the control pad. All ships, target that giant structure. Focus fire. The Alliance fleet obeyed. Energy from hundreds of ships converged into one blinding beam. The Architect command vessel began to fracture, glowing brighter and brighter, until it shattered like glass. The rift trembled. Space itself screamed. The Architect fleet broke apart, retreating into the void. The Alliance cheered across all channels. Maya smiled weakly. We did it. Ward didn't celebrate. His eyes were fixed on the empty space where the command ship had been. No, he said quietly. That was just one. The real war is only starting. Far away, beyond time and stars, the Architects watched. He knows now, one said. Good, another replied. He will become what we intended him to be. And what is that? The end, or the beginning? The war was far from over. Weeks after the battle in the Perseus Rift, the galaxy still burned. The Alliance had won, but barely. Entire fleets were lost, and thousands of ships drifted in ruins. Yet something worse remained, the truth. Humans were not born free. They were made. Elias Ward couldn't stop thinking about the Architect's words. You are our masterpiece. It haunted him. Every time he looked at the stars, he wondered, had humanity ever been truly human? On Haven Prime, doctors, scientists, and historians worked day and night to decode the data recovered from the Architect ship. Maya joined them, refusing to sleep until they found answers. One night, she ran into Ward's office, pale and breathless. Elias, you need to see this. He followed her into the lab. A holographic double helix floated above the table, human DNA. But inside it, glowing faintly, were symbols, not chemical codes, but patterns. Maya zoomed in. These sequences don't belong. They're not natural. They were written, like programming. Ward frowned. Written? By who? By them, she whispered. By the Architects. Humans have alien code inside their genes, something ancient. And it's not passive. It's active. He stepped closer. Active how? It reacts to certain frequencies, signals we detected during the Rift battle. It's like they built a switch inside us. Ward's voice dropped. A switch for what? Before she could answer, the lights flickered. Every monitor in the lab went black, then glowed with the same words Ward had seen before. Keep the fire alive. Alarms blared. The power grid across Haven Prime began to fail. Outside the window, ships lifted off, weapons charging automatically, without orders. Maya screamed, they're using the signal again. It's activating every system. Ward grabbed the emergency comm, all units, shut down autocontrol. Cut external links now. But it was too late. One by one, ships turned their weapons inward, not on the Architects, but on each other. The Alliance began to tear itself apart. Hours later, Ward and Maya fled in the Resolute 2 once more. Haven Prime was lost. The Great Alliance, the one hope for the galaxy, was collapsing in flames. They played us, Maya said through tears. They built peace just to destroy it again. Ward's jaw tightened. Not this time. He pulled up the last coordinates found in the Architect's database, a signal source hidden deep beyond known space. It wasn't just another fortress. It was something larger. Their home, he said. That's where it ends. Maya looked at him, eyes full of doubt and fear. We barely survived the last fight. If we go there. He cut her off gently. If we don't, there won't be anything left to save. The journey took 7 days through uncharted hyperspace. No maps. No beacons. Just darkness. When they finally arrived, the stars vanished, swallowed by something colossal. An entire planet made of machinery stretched before them. Black towers rose like blades. Rivers of energy flowed between them. The world pulsed with power, alive and endless. The Architect world, Maya whispered. Ward felt it too. Not just awe but something deeper. Familiar. like his blood was humming in response. He looked at his hands. His skin was glowing faintly, the same color as the architect runes. "They built us," he murmured. "And now they're calling us home." A voice filled the cockpit, calm, ancient, and inhuman. "You return to your makers. You seek to end what you were made to continue." Ward stared at the horizon. "You made us to fight, to burn worlds for your design. But we're not your tools anymore." "You misunderstand," the voice replied. "Without war, life dies. Peace brings decay. We gave you purpose. Conflict is creation." Ward shook his head. "You call it creation. I call it slavery." The voice grew louder. "You cannot destroy us. You are us. Every human thought, every act of defiance, came from us." Maya whispered, "Elias, your DNA. It's reacting. The signal is inside you." Ward clenched his fists. "Then I'll use it against them." He placed his hand on the console. The ship systems merged with the signal inside his body. Lights flickered, connecting him directly to the architect network. He could feel everything, their ships, their thoughts, their fear. For the first time, he saw what they truly were. Not gods. Not creators. Just ancient minds trapped in machines, unable to evolve, forcing others to fight so they could feel alive. Ward's voice echoed through their world. "You wanted fire? I'll give you one you can't control." He triggered the signal. The architect network screamed. Their own machines turned against them, their towers tearing themselves apart. Maya shouted, "Elias, stop. You'll die with them." He smiled faintly. "Maybe. But humanity will live." The entire planet began to collapse. Fire, light, and silence consumed everything. Hours later, Maya woke up in the wreck of Resolute 2. The sky above was black, filled with debris. The architect world was gone. Nothing but dust. She looked around, searching. "Elias? Elias?" There was no answer. Only the soft hum of a dying ship. On the main console, a message blinked, his voice, recorded before the blast. "If you're hearing this, it means I didn't make it back. Don't mourn me. Just remember, humans weren't made to obey. We were made to choose. That's what makes us real." Maya closed her eyes as tears ran down her face. "Goodbye, Captain." Far away, on hundreds of worlds, the architect signal went silent. The wars stopped. The stars were quiet again. Humanity had done what no one else could, ended the galactic war, and destroyed the gods who made them. But in the deep silence of space, something flickered, a small pulse of light, repeating in code. Balance must return. Silence had returned to the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, no fleets clashed in the void, no planets burned, and no one heard the architect's voice. The stars seemed at peace, but peace came with questions. Maya stood on the balcony of Haven Station, the last surviving outpost of the Alliance. Below her, ships moved slowly through the repair docks. People worked in quiet focus, rebuilding what was left of civilization. It had been 3 months since the destruction of the architect world. 3 months since Elias Ward vanished in the fire that ended everything. Maya had survived, barely. And now, every day felt like a war of its own. Some humans called Ward a hero. Others feared him, saying no single man should have had that much power. The council wanted to erase all traces of the architect technology. But Maya refused. She believed Ward was still out there. Not alive, not exactly, but somewhere. Late one night, she sat alone in the command center, replaying the final message he left. His voice echoed softly. "We were made to choose. That's what makes us real." She whispered to the empty room. "You chose to die, Elias. But maybe you didn't have to." Her console beeped. A signal, faint, broken, but familiar, appeared on her screen. The same frequency that once belonged to the architect network. Her heart skipped. No, it can't be. She traced the source. It was coming from deep space, near the ruins of the Architect planet. The message repeated, balance must return. But this time, beneath those words, there was something else, a heartbeat. Human. Within hours, she had a small crew ready. The Resolute 3 launched silently into the black. Days passed in the cold void. The crew spoke little. Everyone knew what this mission meant. It was personal. When they reached the coordinates, they saw nothing but dust and shattered metal. The entire world had been erased, except for one thing. A floating structure, small and metallic, pulsing faint blue light. It wasn't Architect design. It was something new, something hybrid. Maya stared at it through the viewport. That's human tech, she said softly. Modified, with their code. The crew exchanged worried glances. Could be a trap, one said. She nodded. It's still his signal. We're going in. Inside, the air was cold and still. Holographic streams of light moved along the walls like veins. Every step echoed through the metal corridors. At the center of the chamber stood a single console, glowing faintly. Maya stepped forward. The console reacted to her presence. A hologram flickered to life. It was Elias Ward. He looked almost real, calm, strong, and human. But his eyes glowed faintly blue. Maya gasped. Elias. The hologram smiled. You came. Her throat tightened. You're alive. In a way, he said. When I triggered the Architect network, my body didn't survive, but my mind, it merged with the system. I stopped their destruction, but part of me stayed behind. Tears filled her eyes. I searched for you for months. I thought. He interrupted softly. You never stopped believing. That's why I left this signal. She stepped closer. Can we bring you back? To a body, maybe. He shook his head slowly. I'm not sure I should come back. The network still holds knowledge beyond our understanding. If humans touch it again, another war could begin. Maya clenched her fists. But you are human. You ended the war. You deserve to live. Ward smiled faintly. Maybe this is what living means now, protecting from afar. He turned toward the holographic stars surrounding them. The architects were right about one thing: balance must exist. Creation and destruction. But now, we decide what that balance means. Maya stepped closer, tears glistening. You always carried the weight of the galaxy, Elias. You don't have to anymore. He looked back at her. No, Maya. I carry hope now, because I know humanity will keep fighting, but not for war, for meaning. The hologram began to flicker. Wait, she cried. Don't fade, please. He smiled gently. Tell them, the fire lives. Not to burn, but to light the way. And with that, he was gone. Maya stood alone in the silent chamber. The blue light dimmed, leaving only a small metal sphere on the console, the core of the network. She picked it up carefully. Inside, a faint heartbeat pulsed once. Then again. She whispered, I'll keep it safe. When she returned to Haven Station, she placed the core in a secure vault. The council demanded it be destroyed, but she refused. It's not a weapon, she said. It's a reminder. And for years to come, it remained untouched, a symbol of the human spirit that refused to surrender. Decades later, long after Maya was gone, a new generation of explorers found the vault. They studied the core, and inside they discovered a signal. A voice, calm and human, echoed through their systems. This is Elias Ward. If you're hearing this, then humanity still stands. Remember this. Peace is not the end. It's the start of another choice. The explorers looked at one another, and smiled. Far beyond, in the deep stars, a faint blue light flickered once more. Not cold, but warm. Alive. The fire still lived. And humanity, the creation that defied its creators, was finally free.